O Show. This is the Big 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 O Show.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 18 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive the new Acura RDX. Only $399 a month during our 18th anniversary sale.
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink, be the maestro of your own home.
Come on in to Toyota of Hollywood, where curiosity and extraordinary deals await you. Your golden ticket buys a 2025 Corolla, not $26,000, $17,988. And we've got sweet deals with 0% financing for 72 months, 0 down. Enter our world of wonder, and we'll show you why we're the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Price, service, selection. Get all this and more at South Florida's #1 loved Subaru store. Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Save today with our 3 ways to save. 0% financing, 0 down payment, or make no payments for 90 days. From Subaru of Pembroke Pines.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
On most
righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Hope you all are doing well out there. It is a beautiful Tuesday, June 16th. Another blessed day to be here, and we appreciate it immensely. Thank you all for joining us out there as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Many blessings, especially as we get through. I think this might be the worst off season I've been a part of in 36 years of covering South Florida sports, because our off season it's really bad. No Heat, no Panthers. We're waiting for football. It's nobody cares about Inter Miami. You don't care about the Marlins. All that kind of stuff. So it's just one of those things where we just want to get to football next month. You know what I'm saying? And get this thing restarted again. Get our Panthers back in October. Can't wait. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Please smash the hell out of the like button. Thank you all out there. We are celebrating now now we're starting into our 8th year, but celebrating 7 years in. Of course, you can support our show by hitting the like button, making donations, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Send in your questions, comments, insults. We appreciate them all. David Ferronis set to join us. Perfect timing, considering what's going on, because the whole Brendan Sorsby thing now. So we'll talk to him and get his thoughts on Brendan Sorsby and the supplemental draft that we don't have a date yet. He has to file for it. We'll get into that. Don't forget, folks, you can use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off at Caneswear, Dolphins, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, Miami Heat, and they got anything and everything with the Canes logo on it pretty much. You want to get some killer sneakers, you can get that. Sandals for the beach or hanging out, you can get that. Flags for the car, tents for camping out, shirts, hats, jerseys, you name it, they got it. Wristbands, pencils, pens, rings, earrings. I mean, they've got everything. Seriously, shot glasses, cups, tumblers, you name it. Okay, so go visit our friends Brett and all the great people out there. Jeff, Jack, just amazing people out there at Caneswear. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. Online or in person, you can use our code BIGO10. You will get 10% off. All right. It is Tuesday, June 16th, 2026, and it is day number 19,147 since our beloved Miami Dolphins were world champions, day number 8,930 since the Miami Hurricanes were national champions, and day number 4,743 since the Miami Heat were world champions. All right. And what's going to happen now? So, wait a minute. Is this the new story with the Miami Heat now? The Giannis talk? Some people are trying to keep it alive. Others are telling you that Boston is now in the mix. And, I saw Gary from Washburn from Boston, where he covers the Celtics, and he doesn't feel that they're offering Jaylen Brown at the moment. I've been in this business so long that I'm too cynical, and I don't really believe people or take them for their word. I believe they are offering Jaylen Brown. I really do. That's why they're in the mix. And Stein and Simmons have already said that they hear that Jaylen Brown is in the mix. I get the whole thing. Everybody's talking about, oh, well, this better not get back to Jaylen Brown and all that because he's really testy. I think they're ready to move on, but they're trying to do it as respectful as possible. And it only makes sense for them to do it. Now, in disturbing news, okay, and he works with Mark Stein, So he does have good insight. Jake Fisher is now reporting that Trae Young is apparently a backup option for the Miami Heat if they're unable to pull off the trade for Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo. The fact that this is already coming out is kind of disturbing. It's almost like we're already getting ourselves prepared for them to. I mean, listen, you know me, I'm just following the story. And since a lot of you want it to happen, personally for me, I think it's a stupid move. I don't think it's going to do anything. It'll make you a little bit more relevant. You might get out of the first round, maybe. You know, you might be like a 5th seed or a 4th seed or a 6th seed. Okay. You'll make a slight improvement. You'll get out of the play-in. I get it. But I don't think you're really going to make a big impact when it's all said and done. And you're going to give up all your assets. It's just going to remind me a lot of the Knicks and the Nuggets trade. That's kind of what it reminds me of. But hey, man, that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, just like you all are entitled to your own opinions. We'll find out what happens now. But apparently, Young, who got traded, remember, to Washington, and in January, and Atlanta actually became better. He holds a 48.9 player option next season and is widely expected to sign a new extension with the Wizards this summer. Now, Washington is mulling over their options with the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft later this month if they decide to select Kansas guard Darren Peterson. That could lead to a logjam of sorts in the Wizards' backcourt with Young. As for the Heat, the former NBA MVP Antetokounmpo remains their clear-cut plan A this offseason, but some rival teams starting to mount serious Antetokounmpo pursuits of their own. Miami would be indeed wise to explore some contingency plans in case of emergency. And I saw this on Twitter, specifically from Jake last night, and I thought it was disturbing. All right. I'm not a big fan of the Giannis move as it is. He's an older star. He's breaking down, and I think you're going to have to deal with even more injuries and the way he plays that doesn't age well. We've talked about this. I've talked about this over and over again. I've made myself pretty damn clear. Now, here's my problem with my stance, and I have to be also realistic about this. I've talked about this on the show. My problem with my stance is you're already late on my stance. My rebuild would have started a few years ago by trading Jimmy Butler for a whole bunch of picks right after the finals in Denver. I would have traded Tyler Hero in the middle of that year that he was healthy. So I would have done things a lot smarter than Pat Riley and the Heat. I'm sorry, but this isn't after the fact. This isn't hindsight. If you follow the show, you know I've said it. So my problem is I would have already, if you would have done what I said, you would have been ahead of the game. You would have had a whole bunch of picks. You would have already been in a really good position that you could have set yourself up for other things already. I don't know. And you would have been in the process of restarting the team, sucking, and maybe even getting a high lottery pick too in the process. All these things that they are not willing to do. Now, if you're willing to do what I want and tearing it down, you have to trade Bam. Yeah, Tyler's like, I love how some of you out there try to make a case for Tyler. Tyler is useless. He's worthless right now. You cannot count on Tyler Hero. No team is counting on Tyler Hero because he is unreliable. His body breaks down. Until he can actually go on a stretch, which he did for once, and you were stupid enough to hang on to him, and I have to say it that way. So what I want to do is already past. We left that station. The train is gone. My rebuild would have started a while back and we would have been way ahead. And this is not hindsight. Now to do the rebuild, you'll get less. And if you want to hang on to Bam another year, which what it sounds like, his value will go down even more and even more because he's not an offensive player. And in this league, that's number one. Defensive player is number two. It's not a priority anymore. In this league, they'd rather have a guy that can score and score a lot and score from three-point range and those kind of things, inside and out. Bam's not that guy. Plus, he doesn't even have it in him to be an offensive force. Just doesn't have it in him. Now, to get rid of people, you could have gotten rid of Wiggins. You could have gotten rid of who's the other guy? A Powell. You didn't. They've done everything wrong. Absolutely everything wrong. And that's the problem here. They don't even know how to rebuild in today's NBA. Now we're in a position where they're in a rock and a hard place because the rebuild is worse. It's harder than when I said it because you would have gotten a boatload of picks. You would have been ahead of the game. You would have sucked for the last couple of years, not just playing. You would have really sucked. I mean, how stupid is it? I'd rather be in the lottery than be in the play-in. But this is the Heat nowadays. I'm sorry. They're not the organization they used to be. You go see Motley Crue, and Vince Neil's not what he used to be. You're still paying $200 a ticket and getting ripped off, but it is what it is. The Heat is the same thing, dude. They used to be a great organization. They're no longer a great organization, and they've proven it now the last few years where they don't know what they're doing. And they keep making terrible decisions. And now they're in a desperate spot where they just want to be somewhat relevant, and they don't have the chips to play poker, and plenty of other teams can come up with a better hand easily than the Miami Heat on a consistent basis, which shows you that they constantly are doing things the wrong way because they're getting outplayed by everybody else consistently on the court and now off the court. That's the sad truth. And the Giannis move is nothing but a desperate move. The Trae Young, Ja Morant, whatever they're talking about, oh my God, that's a joke. You've officially crossed over. You're now, you know how the Dolphins are the Browns and the Jets and the Arizona Cardinals? Yeah, you're the Heat. You make those kind of moves. Yeah, you're now Charlotte. You're now the Wizards. You're now Sacramento. I know. You don't want to hear that. But that's what you are now. You're not getting the elite stars anymore. That started already with Jimmy Butler. You didn't get it. That's not an elite star. That's a secondary star. And now you're to the point where you're now getting older, broken down stars if they want to come here. And if not, then you're getting guys that really aren't necessarily stars. They're just kind of guys that score and on bad teams like a Trae Young. And I wouldn't call that necessarily a star because I don't want my team carried by Trae Young. That's a guy that carries a bad team because that's what you're going to be with Trae Young. I've been, again, have I not been talking about this for a couple of years? How the Heat are morphing into the Dolphins. Every day, every year, they get closer and closer to being the Dolphins. Wow. And Trae Young now. You mentioned Trae Young with the Miami Heat. Holy shit. That's a sickening thought, to be quite honest. That's where I'm going to sit and go, wow, man. My team has fallen and fallen hard. They are not even close to being a really good franchise anymore. You want a really good franchise? Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Go see Alan and all the great people out there. I'll be hanging out with Eric tomorrow. We'll be talking about a couple of movies. Yeah, because I saw Pressure over the weekend. We talked about that. And I just saw, what was the movie I just saw now? Damn it. What was the movie that just came out now, and I just saw it. It's, damn it. Oh, man. What was the movie I just saw? Disclosure Day. I have not given you a review of Disclosure Day, by the way. I saw it on Saturday. I think it was Saturday afternoon. I saw Disclosure Day. And so we'll talk about it with Eric tomorrow. He told me he saw it, so you'll get dual reviews of Disclosure Day tomorrow. Anyway, do want to tell you that the Forester right now at 16100 Pines Boulevard. Go see Alan. He's the general manager. He's amazing. You get 1.99% financing for the 2026 Forester base out there right now. How about the Ascent, $258 a month, 1.9% financing. By the way, I forgot to mention the Forester. It's a joke, $228 per month and 1.99% financing. And the Outback 2026 Premium, $278 a month, 0.9% financing. Take advantage of these numbers. They are crazy. The Crosstrek, great vehicle, super reliable, like all Subarus. The owner ratings are just through the roof. Number one. The Crosstrek, $158 a month, 1.9% financing. You got somebody young starting to drive. The Crosstrek is a great car, super reliable, and of course, also it's pretty damn safe too. On top of all of that, the Impreza, $168 a month, 2.9% financing. The WRX Premium, $338 a month. That's a sporty little vehicle, 2.9% financing. Get on down there, check out all the vehicles. Check out the electric vehicles too, man, at 16100 Pines Boulevard. And tell them that Big O sent you. You will get $500 off there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. What else do we have going on? See what we got here on the chat board. I see Stephen Harris is number one. See Jeff in Long Island. Big O, how does the great España draw 0-0 versus Cape Verde? Bro, if you know my Spain boys, we're chokers. España, we're chokers, dude. We do this all the time. Like, we've had all kinds of great success. We've got our moments, but we've had many, many moments where we fall short and don't come up big or come up short. That's a Spain thing. Okay. I know, because I follow it all the time. Spain is not I wouldn't call them clutch. Let's just put it that way. That would not be the word I would ever associate with Spain in football. Dolphin Dave is in the house. Should they put in a quarterback? No. No, Dolphin. We'll get into that now. Big Johnson, Jaybird in the house, says World Cup 2026 full of intrigue, a bunch of upsets in the group rounds, making it tough for some of the favorites to make it out of the knockout. Yep. Let's see. Idle Man out in Castle Rock. Thank you, my man. Pulido. Thank you, sir. I'm finally early to the show. Thank you, my friend. Either way, whenever you make it early, late, later on, however it is, hit the like button whenever you watch. We appreciate it. Visit our sponsors. Thank you. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Lenny Pena, good morning to you. Yeah, I know. It's super ridiculous. Trae Young, like, you're a joke at this point. What else? NorCal got to work jamming, the loudest of loud music, now logged in on the Big O radio show. Have a terrific Tuesday. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Rosendo, Sweet Baby Ray, Jeff in Long Island. Pulisic is expected to play against Australia. He better, because you saw when he went out, it just wasn't the same. And we need him. We're not a great team. We need the best player on our team to be playing. So yeah, let's hope so. Anyone paying to see the 80s bands now isn't getting ripped off. They have to know they're going to a senior citizen show. More often than not. I mean, Rob Halford still sounds good. Klaus Main with the Scorpions, he sounds solid, but he doesn't have power in his voice anymore like he used to. Vince Neil can't sing. David Lee Roth can't sing. Oh, what else? I mean, there's some like Lionel Richie doesn't really sing much anymore. Axel still sounds good on some nights. Let's see. Brian Johnson struggles at times. He'll sound good, but the power that you kind of, he had in his earlier days, obviously he doesn't have anymore. That's hard, man. It's really hard to have that same power when you're young. Sometimes, you got to know where people are, what stage. And Wilson of Heart doesn't have the power anymore. Pat Benatar can't go to the higher. She still sounds good, but she doesn't go to that higher register as she used to go with certain songs. By the way, Geddy Lee from Rush sounds excellent. That one's good. That one's really good. There's some that took care of their voices or had luck and sounded good. Let me tell you something. Up until his last accident, regardless of the amount of cocaine and alcohol he's had and life that he's had, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith was still sounding awesome. So you're right. A lot of times you have to know that you're not going to see somebody that's in their prime anymore. But at the same time, you should know better. You know what I'm saying? So do your homework and you'll find out. Gus 1388. What else I see here? Ty in the Bronx. Jeff in Long Island. He's going to see Howard Jones still sounds excellent. Still sounds excellent to this day. Yeah, he's worth going to see. The Heat are so lost, Big O. It's frustrating to watch how they operate nowadays. It's like it's, Lenny, it's like it's another team. The Heat is not the team that I recognize anymore. The franchise that I grew up with, the franchise that I covered most of my life. Yeah, man. It's not the same franchise anymore. And the sad part is the rules changed and they did not adjust. It's crazy, man. Really is. Skylar Tipton is out in Chicago. There you go, Tiago Splitter. There you go, Skylar. Tiago Splitter, baby. That's the second coming right now. Big O, so far the World Cup has been fun to watch for us soccer fans. This is our Super Bowl week, that last 6 weeks. Amen. Yeah, it's been fun to watch. Yeah, it's been fun to watch some of the smaller countries and like Cape Verde yesterday, surprise and hang in there. Yeah, really cool. I mean, even before they went down 7-1, but at the moment, Curacao and Germany were 1-1. Although that game, God, that game was such a mismatch. Germany towered over them. They were bigger, stronger, more athletic. You could tell the difference between the athletes, dude. It wasn't even close, man. Wasn't even close. It ended the way it looked on the field. The way Germany looked compared to Curacao, It should have been 7-1. Curaçao's athletes were flimsy and minute next to Germany, man. Germany, everybody was one head above everybody. Every time there was a set piece, I looked at it and everybody standing next to the next guy had one head above the other guy. The Curaçao guy would finish right about here, and then the German guy would just have, and it's like, yeah, just float it into the box. Forget about it. And the Germans, they love to play in the air more than almost anybody in the world. Now they're going to be playing a bunch of Oompa Loompas from Curaçao. Yeah, that one that one looked exactly how it ended, 7-1. Oh, let's see. Jeff in Long Island. Def Leppard does sound good, and so does Duran Duran. Yes. Joe Elliott. Now, Joe sounds good like Pat Benatar, but Joe cannot go to the higher registers that he used to go. The falsetto stuff that he used to do, he cannot do anymore. Okay? But he still sounds good. His voice is still there, but it's not at the peak that I enjoyed back in the 80s. I can tell you that. And as for I was going to say Bono. As for now I'm trying to remember his damn name, Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran, he sounds awesome. He can still do the chauffeur. When you can do the chauffeur still, and whenever they do the chauffeur, I lose my mind because it's my favorite song from Duran Duran. But the voice he needs for the chauffeur is one that you would lose at his age, and he has not lost it yet. And he can still sing the chauffeur. Whenever he stops singing the chauffeur, it's because he no longer can go to that register anymore. But yeah, you're right. Simon Le Bon still sounds fantastic, dude. Fantastic. Duran Duran still puts on a hell of a show, and you have 4 of the 5 originals, still playing for Duran Duran. You're only missing one of the Taylors. That's it, because the poor man has cancer. Can we solve this cancer shit, man? Hate seeing so many people go from it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Scott, you got to get Axel. He has his good days and he has his bad days. And that's kind of the way it is with his voice, but there are good days. There are good days. You can hear it. You can see it. You can watch a lot of the videos and you'll see some of them. He has his good days and he does have some bad days. Yeah, there's no doubt. But you could get lucky and he still sounds pretty good. Does he sound like he sounded back in the late 80s, 90s? No, of course not, dude. He partied way too much. But considering all he did, you'll get lucky on some nights with Axel, and he'll be all right, actually. Big old Leonard Skinner is way. Oh yeah, Leonard Skinner at this point is just a what's that called? A tribute band. There's nobody original on Leonard Skinner, and let me tell you, the little brother does a really nice job. He sounds good because he's younger, obviously. He still has the voice, but yeah, it's you're watching a tribute band for Leonard Skinner. You're not watching anything that's Leonard Skinner there at all. Nothing. Not one bit is Leonard Skinner there. But it's a tribute band and they do a nice job, although you're going to pay a lot of money to see a tribute band, which that's kind of ridiculous. Morning to you, Brian. Morning to you, Ender Fireplay. Rosendo says, I recommend the candlelight concerts throughout your area. They play a series of string music with different venues, including classic rock and classic music. Okay. Well, classical music, I go to because that will put my ass to sleep. So classic rock, I will do, but I can't do classical music. I just can't, man. I can't. Not my thing. You can't ask me that, Scott. I'm an Iron Maiden fan. That's my favorite metal band. So I have to pick Iron Maiden over every metal band on the planet ever. It's my favorite band, period. It's U2, it's Iron Maiden, The Cure, and The Fix. Those are my four that I die for. So there you go. And they both sound great. Bruce Dickinson still sounds great. Rob Halford still sounds great. He can sing Victim of Changes. Now, will he go as high as he normally would in Victim of Changes? No. Will he hold the note as long as he used to in Victim of Changes? No. But he still sounds good. Not at the level that he used to be at. Bruce Dickinson also cannot carry the notes as far as he used to also. Still sounds good, but does not go as strong as he used to also. But sounds good still. Just being honest. Let's see. My bad. I meant underrated as far as original members. I see what you're saying. All right. What do we have going on? We have the one and only David Furones.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayon Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayon has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Looks like we've got a crossover of billboards here. Oh, where are we at here? Okay, now we've got it. Thank you to Murias Dental there, as always. Okay. What did I just... We lost David? Okay, looks like we lost David right when we got him. What the hell happened? He just like dropped. All of a sudden, I see that the two-person board is gone because it's clicked. And then I have no David Furones. And here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Big O. How are you?
Very good. Can't complain. Have you gotten in any bets lately?
on some Brendan Sorsby future next team odds?
Yes. I mean, just in case, what do you think about that gamble with Sorsby? Should the Miami Dolphins think about gambling on Brendan Sorsby? Oh, we got a delay and freezing.
Yeah. I heard should the Miami Dolphins. So I think you're asking if the Miami Dolphins should go after Brendan Sorsby. And I would say no. If you're John Rick Sullivan and you're serious about establishing a culture, then no, it would all just be a bunch of noise that you're talking. If you're Sullivan and Hafley and culture is such a huge thing, then if you're literally picking up a guy who was gambling on his team while playing college athletics actively, then that's just a bunch of talk and you're not really about it. So I wouldn't. That's just plain and simple. I mean, maybe you put in, if it's a supplemental draft, which I actually had to look up everything of what the supplemental draft still is. I remember hearing about it, but I know there hasn't been one since 2023 and hasn't been a player selected in one since 2019. So that's before I was even on the NFL beat. So I had to familiarize myself with how it even works. But I mean, I might put in for like 5th or 6th in the event that everyone's staying away. But I would imagine someone with the player that Sorsby is and how he has maybe the potential to rise into the first round of next year's draft had he played another year of college football. And there's obviously some talent there. with his ability to throw the ball, how physically imposing he is as a prospect. But at the end of the day, no, if you brought in Malik Willis to be on a 3-year contract, if you still have Quinn Ewers with a couple of years beyond this next season on his rookie deal, and he's a very viable backup who could even be a fringe starter and compete if things go wrong with Malik Willis. Sure, you didn't take a quarterback in this past draft. Mark Gronowski, the undrafted guy that you took, has struggled during OTAs and minicamp, and Cam Miller is just a developmental prospect as well as your number 3 right now. So there is a spot there for him. But if you're serious about a culture, then no, I wouldn't bring in a guy who was found to be gambling very often in college on his teams.
And a lot of people have to also see that you're going to lose your pick. So whatever you pick him in, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th round in the draft the following year, you will lose that pick too. At the same time, this isn't like an extra pick that any team gets, just in case, since it hasn't happened since 2019. And I know you had to look it up, but a lot of people maybe don't realize that this isn't like a bonus pick. You will be penalizing your draft the following year if you do this.
Right. So, I mean, if some people say he had the potential to go into the 1st round next year, well, that would be after another year of playing college football. He would obviously have to excel at Texas Tech. That would be obviously the ceiling for him. But he in fact does not get that year to show that. So he's still part of this year. And this year he was not going to be anywhere near that. So that when you lay all that out together, then it's really hard to take that big of a flyer. And then you talk about how Sully values those picks so much, then would he really be willing to expend one on next year's draft, which will be a very critical, a vital draft for this Dolphins rebuild, and to spend it on taking a flyer on a quarterback? That's why I say maybe they throw like one of the late round picks, and then you get him in, see what happens, see if he transforms himself. You get rid of him if he goes off the field. Characteristics and troubles and worries still show up. But I would find it hard to believe that the Dolphins under this regime would go waste a valuable draft pick in next year's draft on him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that they probably will stay away. Plus, let's be honest. Your team's not going to be very good. You're not going to win a lot of games. You're going to have a chance at Manning, at Arch Manning. You also want to kind of keep yourself in that position too, just in case that, okay, if Malik doesn't work out, we've got an opportunity at Arch Manning. And if we commit to Sorsby somehow, now all of a sudden we've got Malik under contract, we've gone to Sorsby, and let's say we're not happy with either and we want to get Arch Manning, what the hell? It would create a mess. So I just think in their position, it just doesn't make sense to go after Sorsby.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is that the past of the Packers is always to go take shots at all these different quarterbacks, go ahead and take a mid-round guy. So there is that in what John Eric Sullivan was raised on, to go and maybe say, okay, well, hey, here's a guy, let's take – oh, and the other thing, the Dolphins apparently love their Texas Tech players, maybe specifically the linebackers, but they also got a wide receiver from Texas Tech. So Texas was a big deal in this draft. Some Longhorns, Texas Tech Red Raiders. So that would be the only other thing is if they really like scouting that area with the trends we've been seeing. So, but yeah, that and the fact that the Packers of the past historically have taken shots on different quarterbacks. So this could be an opportunity to go just take another one and then see what you got, see if you develop him into someone great. But I would definitely lean on no for the culture aspect, because if you're talking about bringing in the right guys, then this would probably be your classic example of not the guy that you want to bring in to establish a culture early on.
Okay, now I'm going to play devil's advocate, because this is what I wanted to bring up on a follow-up to this. Now you've got to sit down in your scouting department and say, how good is Arch Manning? How good is Brendan Sorsby? Let's just measure the talents. Is this guy less talented than Arch? Is he as talented? Is he more talented than Arch? He actually is a better athlete running around than Arch, to be quite honest. Now, they both have good arms overall, so there's not much of a difference there. But I think that's what you have to measure to say, well, wait a minute. If next year we're not happy with Malik and we're going to take a shot at Arch, well, it's going to have to be with the first round pick. And we got to hope that we have the top pick or the second pick in order to get Arch Manning. Meanwhile, with Brendan Sorsby, we can probably get him with a third, fourth, or fifth round type of supplemental pick. And then we can sit him for a year because he's probably not going to play. He's probably going to get suspended for a couple of games or something. And if you're the team, maybe you take it easy with them, bring them along slowly, whatever it is. I think that's what you've got to measure if you're the Dolphins. And you got to say, well, based on talent, one to the other, is this gamble worth it since we'll be taking a lesser pick of a chance with them than we would with our men?
Yeah, well, and I mean, but you're not even really just only limiting the comparison to Arch Manning because it is expected to be a loaded quarterback class. And I know Arch Manning is the biggest name and the first one you look at, and obviously he has the track record, the Manning name to go with it. But it's a class where by the time we see this college football season play out and maybe 5 or 6 of these guys really stand out, it could be like a couple years ago when it was 6 quarterbacks in the first 12 picks. If it's like Dante Moore back in college after he was expected to be one of the top players, I know you're gonna kind of like shudder at some of these names. But
I'm not a Dante Morgan.
all right. But if it's Darian Mensah over here at the U, bringing them back, Sam Levitt, who went to LSU, if it's like a Lenore Sellers after another year, Julian Sayin at Ohio State. I know a lot of these guys, hey, you the most recent thing you have is this past year, but hey, no one was looking at Fernando Mendoza as a top quarterback draft prospect as after he left Cal and went to Indiana, and you're just there like, okay, yeah, he'll be a nice, smart kid, good college quarterback. He transfers to a team that has a chance to contend. No, he went and got selected as the number 1 pick. So you have to watch this next season play out, and a lot of things can change. Joe Burrow wasn't that top prospect of the 2020 draft until he had that incredible 2019 season. It was all Tua and Justin Herbert before Joe Burrow burst onto the scene with that LSU squad. So, yeah, I mean, some of these transfer quarterbacks, a change of scenery, they have that huge college season, and all of a sudden,
but Dog, you don't have that luxury. The question I asked you is, you got to measure now in the next week or two, is he as good or better or equal to what's coming out next year? That's the question. You don't have a luxury to sit in for a year and wait to see if Moore convinces you or any of these other guys that the Ohio State kid Sands all of a sudden, explodes and looks absolutely phenomenal. You don't have that luxury. Sorsby's coming out now. You've got to weigh that, because if you make a decision on Sorsby now, it affects your decision a year later.
And that's why I wouldn't risk anything too major for him. So, but my point is that you still know there are so many quarterback options in that next class.
I get you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they don't have that luxury right now. If
you're right. You have to make a decision. Yeah. That's why I wouldn't gamble too much on it to bring it back.
The discussion you're talking about, we'll have next year going into the draft. But right now, the discussion is Sorsby worth it? Is his talent lesser, equal, or better than the class that's coming out? Because if it's better or equal, then we really have to think about taking this guy and find a way to see if we can fix him and he doesn't, go gambling all over the damn place. Now, let me give you a follow-up to that follow-up. Who's the owner of the team?
Of the Miami Dolphins? Mr.
Yeah.
Ross?
wasn't he willing to go after Deshaun Watson?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So this is a guy that, go ahead, sign Tyreek Hill, trade for him. Oh, yeah. No, go ahead, extend him because, he's a moron, but go ahead, extend him. This is a guy that will take chances on questionable people and will meddle to a certain extent. Who's to say that Stephen Ross says, come on, let's go. Let's take a gamble on the gambler.
But I think Stephen Ross at this point will be happy to let the football people make the football decisions and not interfere with the operation. I think he hired John Eric Sullivan to go and make those decisions. And that's why they brought in like Troy Aikman, and now Daniel Silman is taking a bigger role. Brandon Shore has a promotion. I think he wants the people to make the decisions, the people that he hired to make these decisions. And I don't think he's going to be interfering and jumping in and saying, hey, let's really go after this guy. I want you to go after. I order you to go after Brendan Sorsby because I really like him as a prospect. He hired them to make these calls, so let them make the calls.
Okay. All right. Just saying,
You're saying he's always going to go back. He's always going to go back to.
I'm just saying that, under his watch, from Bullygate to all kinds of crazy ass shit has gone on under this man's watch. And I just got to put it out there because Stephen Ross is just, this is the guy that in the middle of the night goes to talk to Harbaugh while he has a coach in place. This is a guy that gets busted trying to bring in Brady and Sean Payton. This is a man that cost his own team a first and a third round pick. We are talking, when it comes to football, we are talking about a first-class dumbass that sticks his foot in his mouth constantly, okay? From saying that Philbin will be the next Don Shula, right? Was it Philbin that he called a young Don, or no, Gase, a young Don Shula, right? Or some shit. I don't know what it was. One of those stupid things that he said. This is the guy that owns the team. He might be a really smart businessman, but in football, he's extremely stupid and meddling and dumb. And so I have to bring it up. Brendan Sorsby's dumb. They do have a lot in common. They both get busted.
Wait, the way you're bringing this together.
They both get busted cheating. I mean, these are two birds of a feather right here. You know what I'm saying? I just, by the way, who's the sponsor of the stadium? Whoa! I mean, he's walking into a big-ass casino. I'm just saying.
You're not just Julian saying. You're just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, all right. All right. Whether he told Brian Flores he would or wouldn't give him $10,000 for a loss. Whether
it was 100.
Or 100. Sorry. Yeah, 100. My bad. I'm thinking what I might accept, not what an NFL coach might. That's right. I had to add an extra zero to it. But whether he did or didn't do that, the pursuit of Tom Brady and Sean Payton, yes, those things are on him. The quotes calling different coaches, labeling them as such, those are on him. Bullygate, that's something that happens in the locker room amongst the players. That's not at his level. It happened under his watch, but
it happened under his watch. And by the way,
what is he really watching when if the players are bullying?
And you kept incognito around who sexually assaulted a woman on a golf course with a golf club. I mean, dude, I could just go on and on here, bro. If you want, the track record is there. There's a lot.
The white powdery substance from the offensive line coach.
In fact, I would tell Brendan Sorsby to find out what Stephen Ross's itinerary is, and maybe he can do what Ndamukong Suh did. run into them somewhere and have a little conversation with them and win them over, and they'll go, we need that Ndamukong Suh guy for our team, and you could do that if you're Brendan Sorsby. I just got to bring up the Stephen Ross factor, because the stupid factor has to be, we have to discuss it. That's all. I got to bring it up.
I hear you. Yeah. And I mean, if Stephen Ross has learned anything from all those past instances, it is, and if they're true to their word about building it the right way and letting this new regime be the ones to make the decisions, then Steve Ross will step back and say, this is the person I hired. He comes from an organization that has done it the right way. We are changing into that, so I'm going to let him make these decisions. That would be the savvy thing for him to do. We'll see, though. I mean, it's a valid question based on everything that you have historically, all that past evidence that you have. So it's a matter of, does he change or not? So I'll take them for their word for now.
Having said all of that, I'm putting in a 4th rounder for him.
4th round? That seems just about fair. Considering
I'm going to do the first 3rd day pick. I am not giving up one of my first 2-day picks, but they have a bunch of picks. They have some extras already for next year. So yeah, dude, I'd give up a 4th rounder for his crazy ass. The guy can play, dude. The guy can play. I'd rather bring him in and see if he's got something. I can bring him along this year. I don't need him. I can wait to use him later on in the year. If Malik struggles, I can bring him along slowly and those kind of things. That's what I would do. I would take a chance on him. I would, because a 4th rounder is nothing. Now, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, I'm not giving up on that kid, because if he is a bonehead, which he's proven to be a bonehead, I'm not doing that. But no, in all seriousness, I am going to try to get any kind of quarterback that I can. And he's a young guy. Maybe he'll learn his lesson, or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be an idiot for the rest of his life. But if I lost a 4th rounder on a quarterback, I'm not going to lose 1 ounce of sleep. Not 1 ounce.
Exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't. And you're right. He is still young. So if we're talking about, okay, has Stephen Ross learned his lesson at his age and he'll take a back seat to let the football people make football decisions? Well, then I think we can give Brendan Sorsby in his early 20s the benefit of the doubt to also learn his lesson, change his ways. And sometimes it's just the scare that someone needs to change their behavior. In how he's had to go through all this, the legal system, and possibly losing football, and whether he's going to be eligible to return or not. He wants to return. No, now he's got to get thrown back into the NFL as a supplemental draft pick. So maybe all this hoopla is just what finally triggers it for this young man, and tells him, hey, I got to change. I'm about to go into the NFL, be a pro, and do exactly that, be a pro as I embark on this journey.
Yeah, man. I mean, you could take the chance. If as long as you don't spend a high pick, there'll be no major burns in this situation. All right. So tell me about Major Burns. Did they sign the future all-star safety yesterday after letting go of Keon Smith, baby? His college run is over here. What was it, 4 years? I mean, that guy was in an NFL dorm for 4 years. That's life. That's awesome.
I mean, so 2021 season, they picked him up after he didn't make the Falcons as the undrafted rookie out of Fayetteville State. So 2021 season, he didn't make it to the 2026 season, but you're talking about basically 5 full years in the Dolphins organization almost. So Neon Keon. But yeah, so his run comes to an end, and he had been elevated to working out at that backup right tackle spot where Austin Jackson wasn't. So he was there with the first team, and he could play tackle, play guard. So he had some positional versatility. So the Dolphins definitely took a good look at him. They put him up there with the first team to really see if at his age, hey, are you able to play at this level or not? That's what I take it as. And then he did struggle. Jeff Hafley tried saying, when I asked him at the end of OTAs, tried saying that there was progress being made, but clearly not enough. And progress only takes you so far when you're 27, and you've been a developmental prospect for so many years that still hasn't kind of cracked through and broken through. So I get it from that standpoint, and they have other options like Charlie Heck is over there, Jamari Sallier, the other free agent they signed, who might be more of a guard right now, but has some flexibility. He's also played tackle with the Chargers, so some options there, and along with several other.
But little thin there. I would imagine that they will be.
You are getting thin.
Now, I would imagine that they're either going to be looking at a veteran to sign or pick somebody off somebody's roster somewhere at some point.
Because they also let go of the Carter Warren kid out of Pitt, who had played a little bit with the Jets. So that was another tackle. So, you lost 2 tackles now. So you figure at least one gets brought in to be another guy to compete for a spot there. And then Major Burns, UFL tied for the interceptions lead last year with 4. So comes out of LSU. You probably don't want your name to be Major Burns when you're in the secondary. If you're playing secondary, it leaves you open to a lot of that same joke you just made with that pun of getting majorly burned. But a kid comes out of LSU, and he was with I wrote it, but it didn't make a team last year, or actually got injured, waived with an injury settlement, and then had a great year with the UFL. So maybe it's like on the high end, but in the secondary, a Cameron Wake type of situation. That would be pretty far away as far as a reach. But you never know. You take shots on guys like that. They come out of these different leagues and then see what you turn them into.
So we get Keon from Atlanta. And so now there's rumors we might get Trae Young, Atlanta, in Washington, and they get Tua from us. Okay. There's kind of an Atlanta-Miami connection going on here. Doing to and fro from there. Okay. All right. What'd you think of that Trae Young stuff? Did that make your stomach just churn right there when you heard that the backup plan, if they fail on Giannis, is Trae Young? The fact that came out already, bro, that is disturbing shit, dude.
And what's the takeaway from that? Is it that maybe it will be the Celtics over the Heat for Giannis, and the Heat are already onto that backup plan?
Bro, the takeaway is that the Heat have lost their mojo for several years now, and they don't. When Pat Riley sat there in that press conference, he says, we have assets. I laughed my ass off that day. Like, no, you don't, dude. And what you're trying to trade Tyler? Nobody wants Tyler, bro. You got nothing. You're offering nothing. Nothing. You don't know what Ware's going to be. You have no idea. Jaquez is a nice role player. You're offering the picks. That's about it. When people are offering Giannis or Jaylen Brown, you're offering stars.
Yeah,
these are things that can really move the needle, and that's the problem with the Heat the last few years. And this is why they end up the bridesmaid and never the bride, because they just don't have the chips to play poker, bro. You know?
Yeah, well, the draft pick that you have in this upcoming draft is that top asset. Like I saw that. The Bucks were feeling comfortable because they liked the idea of having the Heat's first round pick this year, and it would take several other first round picks too. Where basically the Bucks have Heat draft picks every other year through like 2033 or something. So it'd be wild. But yeah, I mean, definitely don't have it wouldn't be the same. You compare these offers, and now, the Celtics would need another team for Jaylen Brown, so it's not like the Bucks would be the ones to grab him in this scenario. But That's a bigger package.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how the Heat are going to end up doing this. We'll see. Plus, I don't even think the Giannis move will make it'll make them a little better, but it's not going to make them a champion. They won't have enough around him. It just reminds me of the Knicks Carmelo trade for Denver, that they gave up so much that Denver ended up being the better team than the Knicks. With Carmelo got his money. That's what he wanted, the bird rights to be traded with him. And he got his money, but then he had no team around him, and Denver went on to make the playoffs, because they had given him so much for Melo. And to me, that's what's going to end up happening with the Heat, that Giannis will get here, and Bam's not really an offensive star. And, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. By the way, Welton Rayon, proud sponsors of this show and this segment here. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. The consultation's completely free. So if you have any of these issues, you suffered any kind of damage, they have their own adjusters. They will send their adjusters to assess the damage, and they will attack the insurance company on your behalf. You never have to pick up the phone and deal with the insurance company. That is a beautiful thing. Headache-free. All you do is pick up a check at the offices. 954-966-4646. Save it on that cell phone. 954-966-4646. And we're in hurricane season, so you never know if you'll need that number. And you can call them if you're here in South Florida, in the Gold Coast, on the West Coast, in Central Florida. We've had listeners all over the place call Welton Rayon. 954-966-4646. What do you got going on the Sentinel, so Dolphin fans can check you out?
Yeah, I think today I'm going to get to writing a Malik Willis column on that. It's going to be a roller coaster with him. It is going to be a lot of ups and downs. He might thrill you, but then he's going to really bring some head scratching plays. That would be my takeaway from watching him through, 6 OTAs plus mini camp practices, 3 and 3 OTAs mini camp. And actually yesterday I wrote a Florida Panthers column that after watching the Stanley Cup, it's time to see the Panthers return to contention after a season lost amid all those injuries. So got dipped my toes into that a little bit upon watching the Carolina Hurricanes, not the Miami Hurricanes, win a title. Hopefully the U also can get one come this next January.
Not only that, we hope to get Zito gets back his team healthy and they can make a run. But now the rumor, Dylan Larkin, who's the goal scorer, you're going to add that on top of all of that. That would be absolutely freaking awesome to make its way back here, because now we'll get a healthy Barkov and Kachuk. And both guys were playing a lot here the last couple of weeks, so that's really good for them to get into hockey shape going into next year. So I can't wait for the Panthers.
More likely, Panthers get Larkin or Heat get Giannis.
Oh, Panthers getting Larkin. Yes. I don't really have a lot of faith anymore in the Heat, unfortunately. I think they've lost their way. I don't think they're not that organization anymore. And that's what people don't seem to understand, unfortunately. So, yeah, I've kind of lost faith in the Heat front office and the ownership. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, no foresight whatsoever, unfortunately.
Looks like I'm going to make a big move somewhere, because if we're already talking about backup plans, it's Trae Young, and then I've seen other. They're going to make some kind of splash this offseason because they're fed up. And I know Pat Riley has to be fed up with watching the Knicks win that title.
I mean, Giannis is the only. Again, I don't think it's that big, but that's the splash, because
it's a drop off after that. Yeah,
Young, Morant, and or by somehow they also can get what's the guy from the Clippers? The guy's always injured.
Kawhi
Leonard, which again would be just depressing.
John Morant has been thrown out there.
Yeah. John Morant, Trae Young, and Kawhi Leonard, those things do nothing for me whatsoever. Those are really bad moves. Those are ultimately super desperation moves. The Giannis move is already a desperation move. This is a super desperation move, because you get Giannis, you're not winning. You're not beating the Knicks, dude. You're not. I'm sorry. You're not. You're not beating the Celtics either. So it doesn't matter to me. You're not really winning the title, and you're not beating the West, overall. And I'm sure that OKC will get. That's the one that I don't understand. Why isn't OKC trading for Giannis? That's the one I don't understand. Get your Wemby killer, bro.
It would be that. It would Milwaukee be interested in a package that OKC has so many players that they have depth. They still have picks, right? They still have picks coming up.
Yes, they got a bunch of picks. They can trade. They don't need the picks,
right?
Yeah,
OKC got to move off of Chet Holmgren.
Yeah. Well, that'll be part of the trade. They'll move Chet Holmgren and then
right. That's the point.
Yeah. And then
if you drop Chet Holmgren, bring in Giannis, watch out.
Right, that's my point. Like you have Wemby there, you have to deal with them for the next couple of years, bro. Go get Giannis. That way, on that team, he won't have to score much. They won't have to worry. He won't have to worry about scoring. He just has to play his game inside and try to stop Wemby, and then that's it. The rest will take care of itself. I really don't understand that one. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. What are you going to do? All right, David, as always, thank you, my brother. We will catch up on Friday, my friend. I appreciate you.
See you then.
You got it.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can send in your questions, comments, insults. We appreciate it either way. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 65,738. The markets, the markets should be doing very well. Should be. We'll see. I just opened up the app right now, so I'm not sure. Right now it has the Dow up 311 points, the S&P down 11, and the NASDAQ down 2. Okay. See if it sometimes it updates a little faster there. 321 now is up. And the S&P is down 9.5 points. Okay, there you go. That's what we got. That's the latest there. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. You can also use those QR codes. As for our 3A Graphics Sports Calendar, brought to you by Alan Blanco. For custom printing and embroidery, reach out to 3A Graphics and Alan Blanco. This is the owner's number, 786-618-1443. Wherever you're at in the country, you need uniforms, hats, shirts, whatever. You do all of that through Zoom and emails and all that. They send you the example. You approve it. Boom, they print it. They have it shipped to you right away. Amazing work. You're going to love the work that 3A Graphics does. Call Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Yesterday, 4 ties in the World Cup. Spain and Cape Verde, 0-0. Belgium and Egypt, 1-1. Saudi Arabia, Uruguay, 1-1. And Iran and New Zealand, 2-2. Today at 3, France takes on Senegal. At 6, Iraq takes on Norway. At 9, Argentina and Algeria. Friday, USA is back in action, taking on Australia. And in NBA action, the Chicago Bulls named Thiago Splitter their head coach, and the Miami Dolphins, they signed safety Major Burns. They cut tackles Keon Smith and Carter Warren. That is your 3A Graphics Sports Calendar. All right. Let's see. Keon Smith was a bad player. The fact that he stuck around for as long as he did says something about the previous regime. I think they were trying to recapture what he was doing before the knee injury and giving him a chance. Practice squad doesn't mean shit anyway. And or back end of the roster towards the end of the year. What's it called? So Keon never really got back to where he was from that knee injury. So we'll see. We shall see. The thing that we don't know is we don't know if they know what they're doing or they don't. That has not been proven either way. So assuming anything is insanity, because we don't know if they know what they're doing. We'll find out in the next year or two. I went to Gamblers Anonymous and they gave me 2-1 that I wouldn't make it. Damn. That's just rough right there. Same with the Marlins, not the same franchise I used to root for. Dolphins have been headed towards that direction Dolphins the Marlins problem is different than any other team. They cannot be compared to any team. The Marlins do not try to win. They spend no money. They're trying to do everything on the cheap. That's it. They're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, get a bunch of young guys to have career years, and that's what they're hoping to do. What the Marlins did in 2003, what the Royals did in 2015 or whatever the hell it was. These are and what happened to those cheap outfits? All those players, they got rid of them because they don't have the money and they don't keep them around and they got lucky. But Dave Dombrowski is the one that built the 2003 team in 97 in the fire sale. So we all have to understand that. That wasn't built by the Henry or Loria ownership. That was built by Dave Dombrowski. So you have to have the people that know what the hell they're doing. I don't know if we have the people that know what they're doing, plus they don't have the money. And please don't tell me how much Bruce Sherman is worth. I saw that silly ass point by somebody in the media, I forgot it was, or two people. I don't care. I know what you're doing. You don't spend. And if you don't spend, then you're not going to win in baseball. It's just too hard. That's why I tell you guys, I don't give a shit about the Marlins. If they happen to make the playoffs, then I'll pay attention to them. And if they don't really care. But I'm not going to waste my time and my energy following something that isn't even trying. You guys can do that. You can go ahead and waste your time, waste your money, all that stuff. Big O, nice shirt. See you at the concert in Orlando at the Plaza in mid-July. I'll see you there, my brother. Cannot wait. See both shirts, both concerts. Let's see what else. Big O, I haven't seen Duran since 88. I would like to see them again. Met my wife while the song Ordinary World was playing. Nice. The Wedding album. That album is freaking amazing. What a comeback for that album. That was the album that brought them like all the way back. Yeah. What a great album that is. That's the kind of album that can be next to the original Duran, Rio, Seven and the Ragged Tigers, those early albums that are just magnificent. The Wedding album belongs with those albums. Yeah. It's a great freaking album, dude. Good stuff. Carmelo was a selfish star. The guy never cared about winning. The moment Jeremy Lin started to shine, Carmelo wanted him out of there, trying to make it work for the betterment of the team. I know. That's why I've never been a Carmelo Anthony fan. Greedy player, just cared about money, didn't care about winning. Wait, is that the same Thiago Splitter who got the dunk blocked by Chris Bosh? Yes, same Thiago Splitter. He's probably going to be a really good coach because your mediocre players are usually your better coaches. Great players can't coach for shit. So the Dolphins, should they or should they not take a gamble on Brendan Sorsby? What do you think? Sorsby is a guy that bet 9,000 times. I am 59 years old. I will be 60 October 1st. I haven't made 9,000 bets. I don't know if I bet 1,000 times. By the way, slot machines included. 9,000 times. 40 times on Indiana while at Indiana. This is a dude that's got serious problems. Now, he's young. I've seen all kinds of guys like this, from the Art Schliesters of the world and, to Alden Smith, who had substance abuse issues. This kid doesn't have that. His stuff is more about gambling. Now, he's been thoroughly embarrassed through all of this. It's a major gamble for anybody. But if you're a team like the Miami Dolphins that haven't had they haven't had a quarterback that can stay here for a while and actually be really good since Dan Marino. Tua was the best you've had, but he was too injury prone to keep. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm taking a chance on Brendan Sorsby. Now, I'm doing it in the 4th round. I'm not doing it in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd rounds. We haven't had a supplemental draft since 2019. For those of you that don't know, if you take Brendan Sorsby in the supplemental draft in the 1st round, you will lose your 1st round pick in 2027. If you take him in the 2nd or 3rd and so on and so forth, you will lose that same pick next year in the draft. So I don't mind taking Sorsby in the 4th round and losing next year's I think one of their 4th round picks. I believe they have multiple 4th round. Well, they'll lose their own 4th round pick is what they're going to lose. Doesn't matter where you acquired the other one from. If it's higher, lower, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose your own pick to go with it. I can pay that penalty. I'm good with that. I've watched the Dolphins pay a 2nd round pick for A.J. Feely, a 2nd round pick for Dante Culpepper. I've seen them pay $100 million to a quarterback to walk out the door. I've seen them do all kinds of stupid shit for all kinds of players. Stupid contract for Ndamukong Suh. I've seen from Jabril Wilson to you name it, dude. There's been all kinds of stupid shit that this Dolphins team has done. Overpaid Ryan Tannehill every single year that he was here, overdrafted him, overpaid him for all 7 years. I've watched it all. But because you never can figure this shit out, I would draft, trade, and make any kind of move for any quarterback that I can possibly make. The other thing is, as you all know that follow the show, I'm not a Malik Willis believer. Never have been. He's going to have to convince me to be a believer. I don't think he's accurate enough to be a good quarterback in the NFL. He'll need to prove that to me. And so far, by the way, in minicamp, he's proven exactly what he is, an inaccurate quarterback. I would take Brendan Sorsby. I wouldn't take one of my first 3 rounds because the human being's not worth it. This is a guy with a serious gambling problem. But I'll take a 4th rounder on him. Because if I can get lucky and he figures himself out and he stops his gambling issues, and all of a sudden he actually becomes a decent quarterback for you, and you got him in the 4th round, that would be amazing. And by the way, he has the ability. He has the size, the ability, he has the arm, he can move around. He actually probably has better accuracy than the guy you have right now. Doesn't have to start right away. You can bring him along slowly. There's no hurry whatsoever. I would take the chance. I would. It's worth it. I've watched them take gambles on many other things in the last 30, 40 years. What do you want to trade Robin Sunline again for Anthony Carter? That's some much bigger gamble that did not pay off. We want to draft Sammy Smith? Did not pay off, right? Deion Jordan? You want to give Mike Wallace a big-ass contract? I mean, I could just go on and on if you guys want. You want to draft Eddie Earthquake Blake in the 2nd round? Andrew Green and Billy Milner? I mean, I can go on and on. The Dolphins, we have an owner that we lost a 1st and a 3rd because he's an idiot. I can go on and on. It doesn't end the stupidity of the Miami Dolphins. And since you're such a stupid franchise for so many decades, this is a gamble that's worth taking, because what you're going to lose, a 4th rounder, is nothing. I'll take a guy with a gambling issue instead of a guy that's a rapist, allegedly. And yet some of you wanted the rapist. Wow. Should be embarrassed, by the way. Those of you that wanted the rapist should be extremely embarrassed that you wanted a rapist. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Don't forget, visit our friends at Toyota of Hollywood at 1841 North State Road 7. Go see my guy, Herbie Lopez. He is absolutely awesome. He's the general manager. And by the way, yeah, you can go get a Tundra, go get a Corolla, Camry like I have, Corolla like my daughter has. Okay, I've had the Camry Hybrid. You can get that. It's Prius. But the EVs are very important right now. And the BZ is the battery EV you want. By the way, the XLE gets 314-mile range. Okay, now the BZ, 314-mile range. The XLE gets 288-mile range because it has 335 horsepower. The BZ has 221 horsepower, so it all depends. One is front-wheel drive. The other one's all-wheel drive. The BZ XLE is all-wheel drive. The Corolla Hybrid, the Corolla Cross Hybrid is there. The Prius plug-in hybrid. They've got the CHR, which has 267 miles total driving range. The RAV4 plug-in hybrid. Hybrids and electric cars, EVs, are blowing up. You got some options there at Toyota of Hollywood. Get on down there and go see them. Take advantage. Visit gas stations less and less, or don't visit them at all. It's a beautiful thing. 1841 North State Road 7. Tell them that Big O sent you. It is Toyota of Hollywood. I would not bet on the Dolphins drafting Sorsby. I think that's a great bet on your part. I would think that these guys are not going to take Sorsby, but I would. Well, that doesn't mean I would. I would put in a 4th rounder. Maybe another team puts in a 2nd, 3rd rounder, or an earlier 4th rounder, because they're like in the order, in the same draft order. They're before the Dolphins. But yeah, I agree with you. I think they'll stay away from it. Yeah. Because of the whole Malik Willis thing, I think they'll stay away from it. But I wouldn't. Then again, I'm not a Malik Willis guy. I think a little different in that sense. When I look at it, I don't think Malik Willis is going to be the guy, so why not take a chance on Sorsby? You know what I mean? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. By the way, the Dow is up 383 points to 52,000 now. And the S&P is down 18 points. And the NASDAQ is down almost 2. All right. And let's see. Bitcoin's at 65,782. I like it. All right. Just went through my entire fandom as a Dolphin of my lifetime. It's sad. Sully saw Malik play at the pro level, and he saw something the kid has to make that move. He did, Rosendo? Okay. All right. So what did Scott Pioli see in Matt Castle? Because he drafted him in New England, then went to Kansas City, and then traded a second-round pick for him. What did he see in Matt Castle? Because he drafted him and saw him win 11 games with New England. A loaded team that helped Matt Castle win 11 games, but, just wondering. So when Josh McDaniels went over to the Raiders and he took Garoppolo with him, didn't he know him also? I love that reasoning that lazy Dolphin fans and media. Well, Sully and Half were around him. Yeah, what does that mean? I thought, wait a minute, Rosendo. I thought Skylar Thompson was around Mike McDaniel for 2.5 years, and he thought he knew him, and he thought he was going to be a reliable backup. How'd that turn out, Rosendo? The guy couldn't even hand off. But no, he knows him. He was around him. Just saying. I mean, Jimmy Johnson, he brought over Jack Del Rio because he knows him at linebacker. Then he drafted some kid in the 5th round, and he goes, Jack, I don't need you anymore. I guess he didn't know him that well because he went and drafted some guy in the 5th round that ended up in the Hall of Fame, but the guy unseated him right away. By the way, Jimmy Johnson knew Steve Walsh. And yet he didn't want to draft Troy Aikman because, by the way, he thought he knew Troy Aikman, Rosendo. So he was wrong about Troy Aikman, and he was wrong about Steve Walsh in both ways. He didn't think Troy Aikman was good enough. Not only was he good enough, he won 3 Super Bowls and went to the Hall of Fame. And then he thought Steve Walsh was going to be good enough, and Steve Walsh wasn't good enough for the NFL. But he knows him, Rosendo. He was around Steve Walsh and won a national title and everything with him. Did I give you enough examples there, Rosendo? Just wondering. Did I give you enough examples of, well, he was around him. He knows him better than everybody else. When somebody says something, maybe some of you all need to take a step back and think about it yourselves before you just repeat, because it's like your parrots. You just repeat what some people say. You may trust them or whatever, but you need to, before you want to repeat it, take a moment and think about it yourself. Go a little deeper and think, is it really worth it? Is he really that good? Is it really true? Let me play devil's advocate. Because, is that the case that you know him, so it works out? Because I've seen that he knows him and it doesn't work out a lot. In fact, I've seen he knows him, and it usually doesn't work out. So stop repeating those kind of things. Big O, speaking of Toyota, are they? Yeah, I heard about that. Did you see that Celica that was out there? I don't know if that's some kind of what's that called? Prototype, right? I'm not sure, but that Celica was sweet. What they've done to the Corolla. Have you seen the different Corollas? Like they're like the little Corolla SUV is super sharp, man. That Corolla Cross, that thing is nasty, bro. It's awesome. And I told you guys this. They've got the BZ. If Toyota felt like going all out in EV, they would dominate, bro. They would dominate. I know they're working on something with hydrogen because they've been working on this for a while. They got something brewing with hydrogen. I think that's why Toyota hasn't gone all in on EVs, because I think they're going to bust something out about hydrogen, and they're going to kick everybody's ass on that. By the way, I heard that BYD is now coming up with a battery that doesn't require lithium. And apparently it charges even faster or something like that. So, the technology for all this stuff is just going to get better and better and better, and eventually we will all be driving. Gas cars will go by the wayside. Yeah, you know what? We should give Rosendo that. Yes, that's a very good one.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Yeah, that whole he was around him, he knew him thing. Yeah, it's kind of silly. It's just the amount of examples that exist out there that prove that you don't know what the hell you're doing. Yeah, it's a lot. It is a ton. By the way, the 2026 Outback is going to be presented at Subaru Pembroke Pines on July 23rd from 6 to 9. The Outback launch event is coming. You can join us out there for an exclusive evening celebrating the launch of the all-new 2026 Subaru Outback and the new Subaru EVs, the Uncharted and the Trail Seeker. So come on out there, join us at 16100 Pines Boulevard. And by the way, they have got a promotion going on that is absolutely awesome. When you buy a car at Subaru Pembroke Pines, you're going to receive a Humane Society gift card. You can use it towards adoption fees, vaccines, preventive care, pet supplies, or you can donate it back to help animals still waiting for a home. There's nothing better than adopting an animal. God, when you adopt a dog or a cat, but I haven't had the pleasure of adopting a cat, but I have adopted several dogs, and it is the best feeling in the world. And they know it, man. They know it. Unless it's like puppies. When they're puppies, they don't really realize anything, at the moment. But the older dogs do. And there's nothing like it. And by the way, they've got a great campaign going on for our four-legged furry friends. And it's called Who Saved Whom? Is the question, right? Because, we all can share stories about our dogs, share stories, pictures, videos. So they're having a social media campaign, and they're going to put together the best ones. So you get a chance to be a part of Subaru's doggy campaign, because Mr. Zinn is a huge dog lover. And all you got to do is go on social media, Instagram, X, all that, hashtag Who Saved Who, SPP, and put in the pictures, videos, write your story. Tell us how your dog saved you, because dogs save us every single day. So hashtag Who Saved Who, SPP. Put in that video, put in the picture, tell us. And remember, if you come on by and buy a car, you'll get the gift card. and all of that. And of course, you can also be featured on our social media campaign. So make sure you do it. Hashtag Who Saved Who, SPP. Good luck. Hope you make it onto the video. I'm going to try to make it onto the video myself. Send in my doggies. Send in all my doggies. All right. Let's see what else. Scott Mitchell was a passer. Malik is scrambling around because he's not a passer. There's no way you pass on him. Put in a 4th-round pick, says Dolphin Dave. Jeff and Long Island. I have to admit, I did like Scott Mitchell. He played well for us, but remember, when you're under Shula, he makes you look better than what you are. Spurrier knew Danny Werfel a lot before he brought him to the Skins. How'd that work out? Danny Werfel at the NFL level? Yeah, I also had high hopes for Mitchell. He played very well for a few of our games. Yeah, he went like 4-1, I think it was, 5-1, something like that. But then again, so was Damon Heward. He went like 4-1 also. He was mostly handing it off to Mark Higgs. I believe Mitchell has a few 300-yard passing games for sure, dude. And he put up some good numbers for a couple of years in Detroit. When he had Herman Moore, Brett Pearman, was a USC kid. He had 3 receivers. Herman Moore, who was a monster, Brett Pearman from UM, and the kid from USC, besides Barry Sanders in the backfield. God, what was the 3rd receiver? He was a little slot guy. Pearman and Moore were the outside guys. And now I can't remember the little slot guy in the middle. Oh, man. I know one of you is going to end up giving it to me because you Google it and shit. I'm trying to go to this, the human Google. Oh. What was the kid's name? I don't want to look at the board. What was the kid's name? I know I can remember it. And I feel like it's like 2 letters and a name, like, RJ Mitchell or TJ something or something. I just kind of like feel that. What was the kid's name? I know it's from USC. I know for sure the kid was from USC. Jesus. All right. This is terrible. Anyway, let me see. Scroll all the way down. Johnny Morton. Damn it. Bastards. John Esslinger says, off the top of my head. Johnny Morton. That's it. Damn it. Johnny Morton. That's it. I would easily take the chance. I'm sure they could put something savings them on a contract. Well, it's a 4th rounder. You don't have to guarantee much. It's not much of a gamble. It just isn't. It really isn't. It's more about what David was talking about. Your whole culture thing and all that kind of stuff. But if you have a strong culture, you can also bring in troubled people and help lead them if you have a strong culture and locker room. If you have a weak one like we've had for decades, then the bad people, all that stuff festers. It doesn't get squashed. You know what I'm saying? When you have a strong locker room, they don't tolerate bullshit. We haven't been there in forever. It's been forever for us to have that kind of a locker room, unfortunately. So, Kosa says, hard pass on Sorsby. Too green and unstable. Let's take our chances at the draft. Yeah, but it's a 4th rounder, bro. No. By the way, visit our friends at All Year Cooling. If you need any issues cooling when it comes to AC and plumbing issues, they are number 1 in the state of Florida. They have over 350,000 satisfied customers. They've been in business since 73. This is their 53rd year, from Homestead to Vero Beach, and now we've got offices in Naples. Tell them that Big O sent you. 888-204-5554. Extended warranties, financing available, same-day installation, free repair estimates, 7-day-a-week service. Give them a ring. Tell them that Big O sent you. 888-204-5554. All right. Hey, can I ask you something? I get some people are a little bent about Rod Stewart backing out of a concert. He was in San Diego for a concert, and apparently he got a little bit of a laryngitis. He got a sinus infection, which led to laryngitis. 40 minutes prior to the show, he canceled it. Now, he apparently sounded pretty good in the prior concert a few days before. But he gets on a plane, and he's then seen at a box watching his beloved Scotland take on Haiti. Scotland hasn't made the World Cup in 28 years. The guy is 81 years old, and he was caught drinking a little alcohol, which for laryngitis or sinus infection, I don't know if you're on medication, you probably shouldn't. I don't know. I guess. Or maybe he's not on medication, or maybe he just wanted to cut the show and go see Scotland versus Haiti. And I get the people that missed out on the concert and they're kind of pissed. And then I don't. Can I defend Rod Stewart here for a moment? First of all, he's 81. He's been performing for 60 years. Did you not see him in the 2000 teens? Did you not see him in the 2000s? Did you not see him in the 90s? How about in the 80s? How about in the 70s? I mean, if you were at that concert in San Diego and this was literally your first time seeing Rod Stewart, which I would imagine it's very few people at this point. I would imagine most of the people I went to see him that night had already seen, like I've seen Rod Stewart several times. But if you also chose to see him for the first time at 81 years old, I don't really have a lot of sympathy for you. Unless maybe you're like 15 and this is like the first concert you've ever been to, and somehow or another you're so young, but you fell in love with Rod Stewart, which is kind of weird. But the people that are, love Rod Stewart are old, like me, mostly. And we've had our chances to see Rod Stewart over and over and over again. From way back to the Faces days to all the solo stuff. You had a chance to catch him when he was a young Turk. And you failed. I'm sorry. But boy, there's a lot of people out there showing a lot of passion for an 81-year-old man who's been performing for 60 years. I'm sorry for you folks in San Diego. I'm sure he'll reschedule. But, the old man loves his soccer. If you're a Rod Stewart fan, you know he loves his football. He loves his Scottish team. He is part owner of a team. I don't know if he still is owner, but this is a man that he kicks soccer balls in concert, because I've been there. I've seen it many times. If he wanted to cancel it, he's Rod Stewart, bro. I have no problem with that. I get it. He's 81. He's given you more than enough. Okay? More than enough. I'm sorry. I'm going to defend Rod Stewart here on this one. If he was like, hey, man, I've been touring for 60 years. Scotland's playing. I'm 81. How many times am I going to see a World Cup game with Scotland in the United States? You know what? I want to take this day off. God bless you, Rod Stewart. Sir Rod Stewart. Bless you, sir. enjoy your day off, reschedule that date for whoever wants to see him again. But I am with Rod Stewart all the way on this one. This is one inconvenience that I don't think it's that big of an inconvenience. I just don't. I feel like most of the people that missed out on that concert probably saw Rod Stewart, and maybe you saw him when he was younger. You know, it's funny. Anybody out there? I only know about this because I see people talk about it all the time, and it's on the news and things like that. I'm not a Love Island guy, obviously, but this is a funky story, dude. Love Island executive producer James Baker has died in Fiji while filming season 8 of the reality show. I'm sorry, Barker. Barker was just 40 years old. He is set to be honored by Peacock and ITA America during the upcoming episode. According to the reports, Barker suffered an unexpected medical emergency. Barker had served as an executive producer for the show over the last 3 years, which has led to its explosion in popularity and made it one of the television events of the summer. Practically, I would say 70% of the ladies on the Fort Lauderdale United team, every time I read their bios, Love Island is on that bio like 70% of the time as one of the shows they watch. James' unimaginable loss has been deeply felt across the entire Love Island USA production, but throughout all of its ITV and Peacock, ITV America and Peacock said in a statement, he was beloved and greatly valued member of our collective family whose kindness, talent, and dedication left an indelible mark on us all and everyone who had the privilege of knowing and working with him. We extend our heartfelt condolences to James' family, friends, and colleagues. They haven't announced what the official cause of death was, but man, 40 years old. You're in the prime of your life. You're obviously kicking ass because apparently because of him, the last 3 years, this show has exploded. And some weird stuff happens. Every day's a blessing. We talk about this on the show all the time, right? I say it every day when I say we're blessed to see one more day because we are, dude. We're blessed to see one more day, and you don't have to be an old fart like me. You can be a 40-year-old. Like, that is an insane story. Wow. Feel terrible for the family and for his friends. All right, let's do a little music and entertainment. All right, let's start off with birthdays in music and entertainment on June 13th. Let's start off with Justin Tranter, songwriter, singer, and activist, co-writing with Julia Michaels. Tranter has written songs for artists such as Britney Spears, Gwen Stefani, Linkin Park, Justin Bieber, 5 Seconds of Summer, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, Dua Lipa, and Fall Out Boy. Justin may have some talent. Born in 1980. Born in 1971, no longer with us, and no reason for that either. Tupac Shakur. Born LaShawn Parrish Crooks, who had the 96 number one single, How Do You Want It, and California Love. His greatest hits album in 98 is amongst the best-selling albums in the United States. He died from internal bleeding caused by bullet wounds on September 13th of 96. Patrick Waite from Musical Youth. Pass the Dutchie from the left-hand side. Born in 1958. Ian Mosley, drummer from Marillion. Born in 1953. James Smith, singer with the Philadelphia soul group, The Stylistics. You make me feel brand new. Born in 1950. Let's see. Ian Matthews, member of Fairport Convention and Matthews Southern Comfort, born in 1946. Edward Levert from the OJs, a little love train for you, born in 1942. Now we move over to famous people born on this date. Sometimes there are musicians. Remember, if I don't give you an age, that means, unfortunately, they have passed away. American Indian leader Geronimo, born in 1829. Newspaper publisher Catherine Graham, born in 1917. Actor Bill Cobbs, born in 1934. Actress Eileen Atkins, born in 1934. She's 92. Still with us. That's awesome. Writer Joyce Carol Oates, born in 38. She's 88 today. Musician Billy Crash Craddock, born in 39. He's 87 today. Actor Jeff Pearson, born in 49, 77 today. Manos de Piedra, Roberto Duran, Boxing Hall of Fame member, born in 51. He's 75. I just want to stop and tell you what I feel about you, babe. Gino Vanelli, born in 52. He's 74. Actor Laurie Metcalf, born in 55, 71 today. Musician MC Ren from NWA, born in 69. He's 57. Golfer and Mr. Breasts, Phil Mickelson, born in 70. He is 56. Actor John Cho, born in 72. He's 54. Actor Eddie Cibrian, born in 73. He's 53. Actress Missy Peregrine, born in 82. She's 44. Comedian Abby Elliott, born in 87, 39. NFL player Justin Jefferson, born in 99. He's 27. And actress Anna Cathcart, born in 2003. She's 23. Those are famous people born on this date of June 16th. Now we move over to what happened today in music history. Let's start off in 67, where the Monterey Pop Festival began in Monterey, California. Within 3 days, 50,000 people saw the first major appearance of Jimi Hendrix, The Who, and Janis Joplin. Additional performers included the Byrds, the Grateful Dead, Jefferson Airplane, and Buffalo Springfield. What I'd give to be there. Get me my hot tub time machine, bitch. In 72, Roxy Music released her self-titled debut album with obtuse lyrics from Brian Ferry and futuristic synth soundscapes by Brian Eno. It's a tough nut to crack for many listeners, but it's later hailed as a triumph. In 75, War released her 7th studio album, Why Can't We Be Friends? Why Can't We Be Friends? And it features the title track from George Lopez's show, Low Rider. Go a little slower. Let's see. In 76, the Jackson 5's 4-week summer variety television show premiered on CBS. The program featured the group plus sisters LaToya, Rebby, and Janet. In 79, Donna Summer's 7th studio album, Bad Girls, hit the #1 spot on the U.S. charts. Originally issued as a double album, Bad Girls became a best-selling, critically acclaimed album and reached the top of the U.S. Billboard 200, where it stayed for 6 weeks, containing hits like Hot Stuff and Bad Girls. It's considered by many one of the best disco albums of all time. In 86, the Smiths released their 3rd studio album, The Queen is Dead. It features The Boy with the Thorn in His Side and Big Mouth Strikes Again. That's me. And There's a Light That Never Goes Out. Oh, yes. Yes. Let's see what else. In 90, the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black re-released in the Netherlands as a single, and it climbed to the top of the charts 24 years after its initial release. Impressive. In 93, the U.S. Postal Service released a set of 7 stamps featuring rock blues legends such as Bill Haley, Buddy Holly, Otis Redding, Dinah Washington, and Elvis Presley. In 2002, a remix version of Elvis Presley's 68 single, A Little Less Conversation, hit number 1 in the UK, released as part of a plan by his estates to regain UK record for number 1s from the Beatles. In 2007, Muse became the first band to sell out the rebuilt Wembley Stadium in London when about 90,000 fans saw them perform. Muse is so good. So good. And it's hard to have a big sound as a 3-man band, and they can do it, man. They can do it. Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax played on the same bill in 2010, marking the first time the Big Four of thrash metal did a show together. In 2017, Lorde released her second studio album, Melodrama, and it features Green Light and Perfect Places. In 2017, Big Boy released his third studio album, Boomiverse. And let me see if there's any birthdays that weren't on the other list. Motown producer and songwriter Lamont Dozier, born today in 1941. Tom Bones Malone, brass musician for the Blues Brothers and Saturday Night Live, is 79 today. Gary Roberts, lead guitarist for the Boomtown Rats, born in 1954, Up All Night. And that is it. That's what happened today in music history. Boom. That's what we got right there for you. Let's see. Oscar says, Big O, I think back then in the Monterey Pop Festival, you would have been a tremendous hippie. Oh, for sure. Guaranteed. No problem with that, dude. Full show. No doubt about that. Yes. Definitely a hippie. Now, if I tell you Robert Horry is full of shit, he's full of shit. Robert Horry was defending Wemby. He goes, people get mad at athletes when they don't shake hands. When you go back and you start the 2000s back, nobody shook hands. We didn't care. We just lost. We didn't want to talk to you. So when people are like, that's just not sportsmanship, I'm mad. I just got my ass whooped. I'm not trying to be friends with nobody who kicked my ass. So I don't understand people that never played a sport get so upset where he didn't shake his hand. I just lost. I don't want to talk right now. Well, Robert Horry, just so you'll know, MMA fighters beat the living shit out of themselves. They end up with cauliflower ears and bloody faces and broken jaws, and they hug it out. And they hug it out right at the end. They literally, by the way, Robert Horry, beat the shit out of each other. You never got your ass kicked. You just lost a little basketball game. In hockey, actually, unlike basketball, you could lose and also get the living shit beat out of you. Get slammed into the boards. Get upended and stuff like that. You know, the stuff that doesn't happen in basketball, Robert Horry, especially when you're shooting from three-point land. Like, that's all you did. I know in your early days, I remember in your early days, you did go into the lane and you did some dunking and stuff like that, but you lived on the perimeter. You faced no physicality whatsoever. If hockey players can then make the line after a tough series where they beat the crap out of each other, they fight, they literally fight. if MMA fighters can actually beat the shit out of each other and then hug each other after and congratulate each other, yeah, I think little wussy-ass basketball players can shake hands because you lost a basketball game. Now, sportsmanship is important, man. Acting like a punk is not. So you can promote acting like a punk if you want, but acting like a professional, because that's what it is, there's nothing wrong with that. And it sets a really good example. It doesn't set a good example to act the way you think you should act, because those are the people that are destroying cities, whether they win or lose, like those idiot New Yorkers. Those are the kind of people that don't shake hands. Those are the kind of people that have no sportsmanship. Those are the kind of people that are disrespectful and disgusting. If that's what you want to be, Robert, that's your choice. But please don't tell me that you don't want to shake hands with somebody that just kicked your ass because nobody kicked your ass, dude. Your long, skinny ass just hung out in a perimeter. Nobody kicked your ass, bro. You just lost a game. Now, in hockey, you could lose a game and feel like you got your ass kicked. In MMA, you literally can get your ass kicked. If they're professional enough to do it, you should be too. After all, it's only a game. It wasn't really war. We're not asking you to go fight the Battle of Gettysburg and then shake hands. We're not asking you to go on the ground and fight Iran and then go shake hands and hug. And then let's just hug it out with Vietnam after the war, and Korea and everybody else. No, that's war. You don't shake hands there. You can walk away there if you're still alive, of course. But in sports, again, it's not life and death. It's just sports. So I'm sorry, Robert Horry, if it's so torturous for you that you lost a basketball game and you can't shake and congratulate the opponent because you got your ass kicked. Pobrecito. Some of these players come up with the dumbest shit out there, bro. All right. We are out of here, folks. We appreciate all of you out there. As always, we thank David Furones. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Thank you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be on at noon in Subaru. Okay? Noon. All right. We will go live at noon. And see you tomorrow there. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.